If you ever dream of a place that looks like it came right out of a storybook, or stepping into a real-life fairy tale, Slovenia got you covered. A place that looks like it's from the Middle Ages, that is full of lakes, waterfalls, and many other natural wonders. Slovenia is without a doubt one of Europe's best-kept secrets. So here are 10 most beautiful places to visit in Slovenia. So let's get started without further ado. Starting with number 10, Maribor. Surrounded by rolling hills and sprawling vineyards, Maribor is a charming city in the heart of Slovenia's wine country. Its second largest city is a medieval old town and pedestrian-only central streets and a wonderful skyline defined only by orange roofs and rolling hills. One of the city's most iconic landmarks is the Old Vine, the oldest vine in the world, producing wine for over 400 years. Located in the heart of Maribor's old town, the vineyard has a small quantity of wine each year, sold at auction. For those interested in the arts, it's home to various museums and galleries. The Maribor Art Gallery showcases a variety of contemporary and modern art exhibitions, while the Regional Museum of Maribor offers a glimpse into the city's rich history. The nearby Pohorje Mountains offer breathtaking views and opportunities for hiking, skiing, and other outdoor activities. The city also has various parks and gardens, including the City Park and the Maribor Botanical Garden. In the evening, head to Lent, a lively pedestrian promenade along the banks of the Drava River. Various restaurants and cafes serve local specialties and international cuisine here. Afterwards, we're going to go see the Soca River with its strange blue water. Is more than just a sight. The river is a clear emerald green river that runs through the Julian Alps and gives stunning views of the mountains and valleys around it. During World War I, this was the site of the biggest mountain fight in history, which is crazy to think about. Now, the river is a great place to kayak or ride a raft. I mean, I'd love to kayak all the way down the river. That's something I might do next summer. Anyway, the place is just so beautiful. The Soca River Valley is a thin strip of Slovenia between Triglav National Park and the border with Italy. The area feels like it is in the middle of nowhere because it is surrounded by mountains. A beautiful drive along the river path is one of the best ways to see the beauty of the Soca River and the Julian Alps. Along the way, there are many places to stop and look at waterfalls, rapids, and secret diving spots. For people who like to try new things, the river has a lot to offer, like kayaking, rafting, and canyoning. It reminds me a lot of the water in Switzerland's Val Versace, which is also a clear green color. Number 8 is Vintgar Gorge, nature's artwork at its best. Vintgar Gorge is a masterpiece carved by the Radovna River, which cut through old rocks over thousands of years. Located near Lake Bled, it's a must-see spot because it has beautiful views of the river and rocks. You can also walk up on wooden paths to the Oystrika viewpoint for a stunning view of the lake and the mountains around it, listen to the roaring water, and lose yourself in its beauty. This beautiful gorge is a photographer's dream. It's a must-see when you're in the Bled area. It has clear water and steep rock walls covered in plants. People can walk up through the gorge on pretty, but not very wide, dozens of beautiful boardwalks. So, if you go in the middle of a nice day, be ready for things to move slowly. The best time to go is in the spring or fall, when it's not too hot or too cold. Next, I'm going to the best preserved medieval city I've ever seen, Skofja Loka. It's the country's biggest theater performance. The Skofja Loka PSVN play is the biggest play in Slovenia, performed outside. It takes place on the streets of the old city center and also the oldest Slovenian play, written in 1721. The first castle in the area was built in 1202, making it one of the oldest of its kind in Central Europe, but an earthquake badly damaged it. In the 16th century, it was fixed in the 1600s. Today, one of the best museums in Slovenia is in the castle. Capuchin Bridge is one of the oldest structures of its kind in Central Europe. It was built in the middle of the 14th century out of cut stone. Next up is for history buffs, Ptuj. As the oldest town in Slovenia, its streets tell stories from the past. It's easily one of the most beautiful towns in all of Eastern Europe, not just in Slovenia. Located on the east side of Slovenia, it is about an hour and a half by car from Ljubljana. In the Stone Age, people lived there, and in 69 AD, it was used as a Roman defensive fort. A must-see is one of the best-kept castle and a bell tower that stands proudly at the end of the main street. It's on a hill that looks down on the town. The castle was built in the 12th century. You can look around the rooms, towers, and gardens of the castle to learn about the town's long and troubled past. The old town of Ptuj is a maze of cobblestone streets and colorful buildings. Slovenski Trg, the town's main square, has many bars and restaurants. This beautiful town on the Drava River is full of history and has a lot of culture and building treasures. And how can I forget about the hot springs? And in the summer, Ptuj comes alive with cultural events and fairs like the Days of Poetry and Wine. Coming at number 5 is the secret gem, Lake Bohinj. Less busy, but just as fascinating and pure bliss, whether you're paddleboarding or just taking in the views. It's Slovenia's biggest lake, and it's only about 30 minutes by car from Lake Bled. Now you can do a lot on the lake. You can take a boat to get to the other side, or you could just walk around the lake. This glacial lake is surrounded by mountains and woods. You can swim, fish, kayak, paddleboard, or just relax on the beach of Lake Bohinj. Stand-up paddleboarding on the calm water is a great way to relax and clear your mind. Adventurous people can go canyoning or tubing on the nearby Soca River, which is a lot of fun. In the winter, skiing, snowboarding, and cross-country skiing turn Lake Bohinj into a winter beauty. Vogel Ski Resort has more than 22 kilometers of ski runs with beautiful views of the mountains. There's also cultural sites like the Church of St. John the Baptist, a beautiful ancient church with a bell tower that gives you a great view of the lake and the mountains around it. Fourth on the list is Triglav National Park, the country's only national park. Park is the perfect place to get away from the busy city life. Located in the northwest of Slovenia in the Julian Alps between Italy and Austria. It has an area of more than 838 square kilometers. Its natural beauty and cultural history make it a one-of-a-kind place to visit. The park is also called Mount Triglav Park after the highest hill in Slovenia, which is 2,864 meters above sea level. The park is famous for its beautiful mountain views, glacial lakes, and wide variety of plants and animals. Hiking, biking, and skiing are just some of the things that wildlife lovers can do in the park. The Seven Lakes Valley is one of the most famous hiking trails. It takes you through a beautiful area with 7 glacial lakes. Bird watchers can see rare birds like the golden eagle and alpine cha. You'll need at least 3 to 4 days. There's so much to see here that you can't see it all in one trip. This place is popular with tourists because it has a lot of things to do. You can hike, swim, fish, and go river boating in Triglav National Park. Next, we'll go to Ljubljana, which is the biggest city and capital of Slovenia. Located in the middle of the country, it's one of the greenest places in Europe, and in 2016 it was named the European Green Capital. I really like that the river runs right through the city. You don't feel like you're in a city at all. And because it is so green, the best way to get around is by walking. Of course, seeing the castle will be the best part, but it is also a great place to stay if you want to take day trips to other places. The Ljubljana castle was built around the year 1200, and it is one of the most famous places to visit in the city. The old town is the old city center, and it's very small. Everything is so close together that you can walk everywhere. It has a lot of history, and you can spend all day taking pictures and looking at the beautiful buildings. One of the best things to do is to take a tour along the Ljubljana River. From the water, you can see the city's beautiful bridges and buildings in a new way. You can see the castle, the Triple Bridge, and the Dragon Bridge. People also like to go to the central market, where they can try delicious local food like the famous carniolan sausage. Second one is Piran. It's a lovely medieval town on Slovenia's southwest coast, and has a long past and beautiful building. Situated at the end of a peninsula on an island and sticks out into the Adriatic Sea. From there, you can see beautiful views of the sea and the hills around it. It was part of the Roman Empire in 178 BC. During the Middle Ages, it was part of the Republic of Venice, and you can still see a lot of Italian impact today. I love how ancient it looks and how the roofs are orange and has winding streets. The great violinist and songwriter Giuseppe Tartini was born in Piran, which is why Tartini Square is named after him. The Tartini Central Square has a lot of shops, cafes, and restaurants, or walk around the town's edge to see the Adriatic Sea. It's a great place to stop and take in the vibe of the area. If you stood in the beautiful plaza and looked at the small port, you might think you were in Venice. Also has a number of museums, such as the Piran City Museum, which shows off the town's history and culture, and the Marine Museum, which tells about the marine history and customs of the area. Also check out the town's many churches and sites, such as the Church of St. George, the Church of St. Francis, and the Piran Lighthouse, which has stunning views of the coast. Piran isn't very big, so walking is the best way to see it. So go for a walk along the harbor and enjoy the seafood places there. The first stop will be the famous Lake Bled, known as the Jewel of Slovenia. The green lake in the middle of the mountains looks like it came straight out of a fairy tale. It's the biggest lake in Slovenia, one of the most beautiful lakes in Europe. Located in the Julian Alps, it's about a 40-minute drive from the main city and 35 kilometers from Ljubljana airport. It has the only island in Slovenia which has a church on it. It's now called the Church of Mary the Queen, and it was built back in 17th century. You should definitely take a traditional platina boat to the island in the middle of the lake. Is one of the best ways to see the lake, or you can just walk around the lake's edge. The castle is also an amazing thing about it. It's the oldest castle in Slovenia, with a past that goes back to the 11th century. I love how it's built on the edge of a cliff and looks out over the whole lake. It's a very beautiful place. There are also many outdoor things you can do near the lake, such as climbing, biking, and in the summer you can go swimming. Lake Bled is also known for its tasty cream cake, which everyone who visits the area should try. One of the cute bars along the lake's edge is a great place to enjoy this sweet treat. This place will take a few hours to reach. It's not too busy or too full of people. Around the lake, it's easy to find a place to be alone. It's also a good place to fish. Lake Bled is without a question one of the most visited places in Slovenia. It's a great place to spend 1 or 2 days. So that's it for my top 10 in Slovenia. Tell me in the comments below where your favorite place is. That was Slovenia, a beautiful country. So if you have never been there before, I strongly suggest that you do. You can find us. Go to www.wishhistorians.com to find out more. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.